Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening. Wow, I almost said good morning. Yeah, it's good morning, evidently. Um, what's up, everyone? How are you doing? Say what's up if you're jumping on. We got Ali already in here. My week is so messed up. I got on yesterday looking at the screen for 5 minutes, wondering why it wasn't starting until I noticed the date. But hey, fam, you're early, huh? I love it. Hey, sometimes these weeks just go together these days, man. You know, it gets the best of me most of the time. Hey, what's up, Amanda? Hope you're doing well. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is almost a weekend. And I'm excited for the weekend because I don't have much to do and I can clean out my garage because I really want to clean out my garage. And I know that's what happens when you get like in recovery. You look forward to cleaning out your damn garage. Like, the hell's going on here? I don't think I've ever like realized what like I'm like, yeah, you know, it'd be cool to clean out my garage when I get clean. The gifts, right? We got Crystal. What's up, Crystal? Eula. Hey, Eula. We got Mark, my man. How are you doing out there in Arizona, my friend? We got Jamie. Jamie, good to see you here. All right. So if you guys wouldn't mind sharing this live feed, I have the clarity statement to read. And let's see. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family. All right, let's see. Who else we got on here real quick? Let me see. What's up to Brandy? Thank you so much for sharing. Happy hump day. Jane, good to see you here. Hope everything's well with your son out there in UK. We got Kimberly. What's up, Kimberly? I'm glad you're here too, Crystal. Let's see. We got Jess. Good evening from Minnesota. We got Becky. Good to see you here. My man, Hard Knocks. Hey, guys need to check them out, man. If you're ever feeling down, they're always doing their live videos as well. I think they do Tuesdays. His wife does Tuesdays. They do Sundays. Really good programming. He's really good. He's got a really good program going on over there. What's up, Chuck? Nice to see you here. Verna, always great to see you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being a part of my recovery this evening. Cher, thank you so much. Nicole, good to see you here. Great loving life sober one day at a time. Yes, sir. Thank you, Crystal. And hello, Crystal, with a C. All right. So we got James on here tonight. He's going to share his story. Again, if you guys want to share your story here on the Hope Shot, we have a list, which we're going down that list slowly but surely. We're cracking away at it, a little chisel at each time, but we're getting down there. So if you guys want to share your story, I will put the link in the comments after I bring James on. But James signed up. He's a faithful follower for, like I said, he said 5 months now. So he signed up, and I think it was about the time I actually put that list out, and he was on it. So I'm gonna bring him on real quick. What's up, James? How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be on here. Grateful, to share my experience. I hope that, I can help somebody. I hope somebody identifies and maybe, chooses to stay in sobriety if you're not in it, or, if you're going through something, you can use something I say.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks, man, for signing up and being on here tonight, man, to share your story, man, to spread hope. If you guys, man, make sure you share this live feed. That way, his story can touch somebody tonight. That's the only way to get it out there, is to share and tell your friends about it. So the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. So my name's James. I'm a heroin addict, alcoholic. I've done basically every drug out there. I was born in upstate New York. Both of my parents, my dad's an alcoholic. My mom was an alcoholic and a drug addict. So that was the lifestyle I grew up in. I was used to going to parties like every night of the week. I enjoyed going to them because I got to hang out with other kids. I lived with my parents until I caught my father cheating on my mother. So then their marriage kind of broke up. And then I lived with my mom, and her disease continued to grow, and grow out of control. Eventually, my sister and I were brought to a foster home. We were taken by the police, brought to this foster home. Um, and I can't say anything bad about it. It was actually a good experience. They were good people. They went to church. The church they went to, my grandmother, my dad's mother went to and attended, so I was able to see her on the weekend. So that was pretty cool. Um, Eventually, my my grandmother and my aunt ended up getting custody of both my sister and I. And we moved to New Jersey, and I lived in a structured home. I played sports. Um, I played baseball and stuff like that. And I couldn't want for anything. Like, I was provided everything that I needed. Um, but I still had these character defects at a young age. I used the bad part of my life to try to manipulate and to get things that I wanted. Um, Everything went good. My aunt ended up getting married and to a guy that I call my father. I call my aunt my mother. Um, so we ended up moving from Bergen County, New Jersey, to Sussex County, New Jersey. That's where I grew up. And everything was going well. We were happy. There was a lot of yelling, but I thought that was typical. Um, and I did things to get my way, right? Like, those character defects were glaring at a young age. I'd lie, I'd manipulate, I'd play both my parents against each other to get my own way. Um, and I didn't see it at the time. Um, I got into high school, and that's really where, like, I started wanting to fit in more. I started drinking, I started smoking weed. Um, and the unmanageability. I eventually, I was cutting class. I wasn't passing my classes. I wasn't interested in, I think I was playing football my freshman year, and the want wasn't there, the drive wasn't there. Coach put me in. I made a few good plays, and he took me back out. He didn't put me in the next game, and I was just like, man, like, this ain't for me. Like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, which was drink and smoke. Um, so that unmanageability started off at a very early age. um, and it kept progressing. I tried different substances my sophomore year, cocaine and everything like that, and my school started. It still was just a mess. I was using girls. Like, I didn't really have any connection with these girls. Like, I was just using them. um, and that continued when I was 16. um, I think I was at a party or something, and that was the first time that I was presented with heroin. I didn't really know it was heroin. I thought it was like some pills that were all mixed up. The girl was calling it diesel, and I didn't know what that was slang for. Um, and I tried it, and I didn't feel nothing. And it just kept, like, I kept hanging out with that girl, and she kept having it, and eventually I figured out what it was. And I continued to do it, not knowing the consequences, not knowing that, it was really a life changing thing. I'd never really met anybody that had a heroin problem. The friends that I hung out with, that I smoked and drank pot with, didn't even want to hang out with me anymore. Um, so the crowd definitely changed. My home life was really bad. My aunt and uncle really didn't want anything to do with me, and they told me that. They were like, "Look, we got you until you're 18. Once you're 18, you're gonna have to figure something out." And I failed to adhere to that advice. Um, sure enough, like, I continued doing that. Um, and I turned 18, and I told my uncle and I got into this fight, and I was like, "Man, screw this! I don't got to be here anymore." And I walked out the door. Um, and continued to just make a massacre of my life. I was 18. Uh, I'd been in a relationship and we had broken up. And that's when I first tried the needle. And it stuck. It stuck for a good 3 years. That was all I did. That was all I wanted to do. During that first 3 years, I went to jail for my first time, and I went, and I was fearful. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. I remember some dude coming down that was probably twice my size, and he had two big black eyes, and I'm like, man, like, I'm gonna get up there, I'm gonna get killed. Um, and the complete opposite thing happened. I get up there, and there was a bunch of my friends up there, and I felt at home, honestly. So that kind of broke that barrier. So I was just like, man, like, if that's the only consequence, like, I can shoot dope and then I'll just go to jail. Um, so that progressed, 4 years. I'd met this other girl at the time, and this girl, she used to, and I fell in love with her. She got charges, and she went to jail, and she had taken drug court. And drug court sends you to programs and everything. So they sent her to a program. And I'm still on the street, I'm still getting high. And I didn't want to be her downfall. I wanted her to get right. So, I wrote her this long letter and explained to her that, she has the opportunity to change her life and everything. Um, and 3 days later, she shows up at the house. She knew where I was at. The address was on the letter. So she shows up there, and we went on the run. I was on probation. Um, we went on the run to upstate New York, to my mom's house, and I hadn't seen my mom, my real mom, my biological mother. I hadn't seen her in probably 5 or 6 years. And we just showed up. We showed up at my dad's house first. I was like, look, like, you haven't been in my life. Like, I need a place to crash. And this girl's staying with me. You didn't support me. So, help me out, and he felt guilty, I guess. And he helped me out, right? Like, I manipulated my way in that situation. Um, so we're up there, and now I'm sick, and I'm up there, so we end up, I was up there smoking weed with her, and not really doing anything else. We were smoking, and I was drinking and blacking out. um Christmas time came, and she wanted to go see her family. So we went back to New Jersey. um and she said she wanted to see her family, but both of us just wanted to get high. And that's what we ended up doing. And then we had this pact made that we were just gonna terminate her drug court and my probation. And I ended up getting arrested. So she turned herself in 3 days later, and our Sussex County jail it's a small jail. Like, I end up getting a job, and she comes in, and I see her. Or I was on the work block. I hadn't started working yet, and she sent a kite to my buddy, and they had given her a pregnancy test. Um, so boom, I found out that I was going to be a father. And our little idea of, like, going downstate and finishing out, maxing out whatever we had was, out of the question. I want to be a father. She wants to be a mother. Um, so she continued drug court. And probation was willing to give me another chance on probation on the terms that, I did a program. So I went to the first program that I had ever been in. It was in Morristown. It's called the Market Street Mission. They're a faith-based program. And I wasn't really down with the God thing. I wasn't down with the higher power. I was mad at God for how my childhood was, and all this. I couldn't be with my real parents, and, I wasn't grateful for the parents that I had, raised me. And the first, like, 3-4 months of the program, I just coasted through it. I wasn't really buying what they were selling. Um, but but something clicked. Like, the guys that I was in there with, they were working an AA program. And they talked to me. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have made it through that program. I made it through. I graduated that program. And that program provided me with a relationship with my higher power again. Something that I had when I was a kid, that I had shunned after, the the first half of my life, and didn't work on or anything. Um, However, I did not stay sober. I had certain expectations, uh, certain ways I thought that my life was going to turn out just by graduating a program. I started working. I didn't. Uh, I'd wanted to see my daughter, and I'd wanted to see my daughter's mother, but her drug court officer did not want us seeing each other. So I was just like, man, like, screw this. This is the only reason why I'm doing this, and I can't have it. And I acted on impulse, and the next thing I knew, I was high. Relapse. It wasn't a long relapse. It was a week. I still wanted to be in my kid's life. I went to another treatment center, called probation, let them know what happened, and they were content with me doing what I was doing. So that was like the next like 3-4 years of my life. Was in and out of institutions. I would get some clean time, and then something didn't go my way, or I didn't need HA or AA. I didn't need these meetings. I didn't need the support, the support network that comes with it. I was like, man, like, I can do all this on my own. um, and I never really worked the steps, until I came out here, to West Virginia. It was more like I looked at it as like willpower, my willpower. Like, I can do this. Like, yeah, I believe in God and everything, but like, I want this thing. I want all this stuff to happen when I want it to happen. Um, Impatient. Um, so I ended up taking drug court eventually because I, kept messing up on probation. Drug court sent me to a behavioral modification program in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Um, I'm on drug court. I do this 9-month behavioral modification program. Um, and then I got sent to Eva's Village, which is in Patterson, New Jersey, which is where I run at, where I get high at, and I'm there and I'm doing good. I'm working, and I had lost custody of my daughter. Crystal and I both had lost custody during one of our relapses. And while I was in Eva's, we ended up, we got custody of our kid back. It was a blessing. Um, and so I ended up maxing out my drug court, and I got custody of my kid back, and I'm wanting this relationship with my baby mother. Um, who had started getting high again, and I was sober, and that didn't work, and we were fighting, and I did that "I'll show you" thing again, and I went out and I got high, um, and ended up back under the same bridge, living at that animalistic level again. um, and I was out there for a month or two, and my best friend since fifth grade. I used to get high with him. He did the same thing. He had built a little life down in Maryland. And he had 5 years, or at the time I think he had 3 years sober. And it just so happened, like, I ended up running into somebody with a phone. He had messaged me. Uh, and he was like, man, like, I'll come get you. You don't have to live like that. You know what sobriety is like. It's awesome. I'll come. You can sleep on my couch for however long you need. Um, and I told him I would call him back. And he was like, all right, you call me back if you're alive, and something just sat, and it sat and marinated in my head. Um, And I ended up calling him a few hours later and was like, all right, man, when can you be here? He was working. He drove out from Maryland, um, and picked me up, and I stayed with him for 2 weeks. Um, and I went to a crisis unit out there so that I could detox from the heroin. Got out of there, went to a few meetings, and one of my buddies that I was in a program with had gotten out of prison in Martinsburg, West Virginia, which isn't far from Frederick. Uh, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'd love to see you." I went over there and hung out with him, and ended up getting high. So I ended up running and doing that again for 2 more months, and I ended up overdosing. And that first overdose was a blessing because I ended up in detox and ended up, from detox I went to Parkersburg, which is, I guess, the biggest city out here, like close to where I'm at. Um, and this dude came in and he told my story. Um, I asked him to sponsor me, which I'd never been willing to work the steps. I tried to back out of it, and he was like, "No, go get your big book, and we're gonna go sit down. We're gonna do steps 1 through 3." Um, so I just did it. Uh, I was out here for like 10 months, worked the steps, but I had failed to, work the 12th step. I failed to work with others, failed to, share my experience, strength, and hope with others. And I became restless, irritable, and discontent. I went back to New Jersey, um, and eventually relapsed. So my new sobriety date is July 4th, 2020, right? Um, I ended up relapsing, and the people that run this recovery house that I'm in now, that I'm staff at, they found me. I was 500 miles away, living under that same bridge that I was under where my best friend had picked me up at. People that I only had in my life for like 3 months. They tracked me down and found me, man, and that brought hope to me. Like, man, like there's good people out there. Like maybe I'm not useless. Maybe there's a reason why God because I had overdosed 3 more times out there. Um, and something was different. And I was just like, man, like I got to do this different. Like I need to get this for me, for my little girl, for my family. I love my family. I love my uncle. Um, so I did, just that. I called my sponsor back, started working the steps a little bit again. With him, and it was hard because of COVID. We basically did it all over the phone. We did my 10, 11, and 12 at this little pizza shop up here. Um, Man, and it's been totally freeing. I was just talking with Justin before. I had my little girl come out here, which I never thought like I would get her outside of New Jersey. She was out here for a month, and it was awesome. I hadn't really been present in her life. So it was really dope having her come out here and being able to be sober and be in her life and experience that. I mentor people, I guess you call it, in the house. People that come in and go out. Sobriety is awesome. And I love my life today, right? Like I like myself. I've never liked myself. Growing up, like I didn't like myself. Like there was always something wrong with me. Um, and I can genuinely say that I have love for myself today. I don't put myself in situations where I'm gonna end up killing myself. I listen to my support network. I pray, I meditate. Um, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like my life ain't like it's perfect, because it's not. There's times where I get depressed or whatever. But the best thing that I can do is pray. I pray to my higher power. I talk to my support network. They're there for me. They'll pick the phone up for me. Um, yeah. I'm grateful that I be on here. And that's my story.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story, man. Everybody has a story, man, and most people think that nobody ever wants to hear it, or nothing's gonna happen from it, or why do I need to share my story? Nobody wants to hear that shit, but everybody needs to share their story, man, because it empowers people and empowers yourself as well. Every time you get involved with anything, to show up, you speak, you do what you need to do, because man, you never know who like your story can affect, just you as a person. Because me saying my story might not influence anybody, compared to what you can, or mine will influence certain people, and yours will influence certain people. You know what I mean? It
Absolutely.
just depends on the time, the perspective. Um, so where you at up in where you at again?
So I am at I'm in Work County Recovery, which is in Elizabeth, West Virginia. It's a little small town outside of Parkersburg. Um, I think Morgantown's like 3 hours from here. I think. I
Gotcha.
still don't know the whole geographics. I know I'm like 4 hours from Cleveland.
so so you say that these people found you 500 miles away and came and got
Yeah,
you. Yo,
yeah,
that
yeah.
is true
That's
soldiers
crazy,
right
right?
there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that shows the love that the program has, that people have. Like I didn't really think that really existed anymore. And that kind of was like, man, like they did this for me, like I got to do this for other people. That's what I want to do. I think that's why I was put on this earth, was to help people.
That's awesome, man. So how long you been in this recovery home? For 2 years?
Yeah, they picked me up July 3rd. They drove. Oh, and they drove around Patterson, New Jersey, which it's not the safest city. I wasn't even where I was supposed to meet them at. They drove around for 8 hours in the hood, in the ghettos, looking for me. And I had like really long hair at the time. They called me Jesus in Patterson, and and they found me. Just so happened to be outside of that Eva's village, and I've been here ever since. I went to St. Joe's for 30 days this time, and I came back and went on vacation with these people. And,
hmm
and it's awesome, man. Sobriety is dope. Um,
So are you involved? So you're involved with a lot of things up there, right? You said you were doing some kind of work for you're doing recovery coaching and all that.
yeah, so I do recovery coaching at the house. I'm at the house all the time, so like, I mean, I tell everybody that's in the house, like, if you're going through something, I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, like, wake me up.
Mhm.
So we do that. We do stuff in the community. We go out and go to the food pantry once in a while, and help hand out food. We're doing a Save a Life Day, which is basically like Narcan awareness. We're handing out Narcan, training people how to use Narcan. We're doing that. We do these little chalk walks. Um, and then we're basically just we were having meetings at the house. They're kind of closed right now, but we do have AA meetings here at the house that we do.
What do you mean by closed? Like a lot of meetings are closed?
Well, our meetings have been closed because of COVID, but
Yeah,
we're in the process right now of trying to figure out what we're doing with it, and opening it back up, because people need it. They need the meeting.
definitely need it, man. It's definitely needed. It's more than ever now, especially with the way drugs are going. Let's
Absolutely.
see. We got Missy. Hey, Missy Thang. So happy to not be working tonight and can actually watch all good. God is good. I'm glad to see you here. Jane says her son is 9 weeks left, and he has 9 weeks left in prison. I've got everything crossed. He sorts his life out. I hope he does, definitely. Missy says, thank you for all you do. Missy Thang also said, drug court. Thank God for the courts currently in program in my city. 22 months sober. Grateful for the opportunity to take advantage of this program. I wouldn't have made it without it. Telling you, man. I think a lot of people drug court saved their lives, and it's amazing that law enforcement and everybody kind of is like more empowering people instead of trying to just lock them up and throw away the key. We actually
Yeah,
had a conversation about that today.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Jay says, "Love you, brother. You are doing amazing."
Hey, thank you, man. I love you too, man.
Terry says, "Thank you for sharing." Um, oh, Helen says, "Patterson, New Jersey is crazy." Nicole says, "Thank you so much for sharing, for speaking." Let's see. Tessa says, "Losing friends and acquaintances by the day in Louisville, Kentucky. It's crazy out there." And then Tessa also says, "Thank you for sharing." We got Kelly. Hey, Kelly. She says, "Hey, all." And we got Tessa's hope shot prayers to all. Missy says, "My addiction has as much power of me as I allow it to." Amen to that. "I think, therefore I am. I cannot change what I do not acknowledge. Acceptance is key." Yes.
Yeah.
Rick County recovery. Proud of you, man. Well, James, I appreciate you being on here tonight, man. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I'm gonna put the if you guys haven't seen, you can go up into the top of the page actually, and there's a sign up if you are a family member. If you want to share your story about going through the addiction process with your family member, you guys can sign up as well. And this August 31st, I'm going to create an event. I'm going to post it and I'm going to blast it. I'm going to get it out there. I want everybody to come and be involved. We're going to be doing a Zoom-like meeting. We're going to go live just like we do here with this, and we're going to it's International Overdose Awareness Day. It kicks off Recovery Month, which Recovery Month goes all of September. It'd be cool to have everybody get in here, share a little piece about recovery, little positive messages, man, about that way we can spread awareness about the overdoses, and also recovery, so if you guys want to do it with us, it'd be August 31st. It's a Wednesday. We'll do it at 8 o'clock, just like we do the Hope Shot. There will be a Zoom link I will put into an event. I'll put the event on the Hope Shots page. Glow sticks, purple glow sticks, man, to light up your face would be cool as shit. Like, if you guys can do that, I'd be amazing. Like, I would love you forever if you could all get purple glow sticks. If not, purple shirt is just fine. Whatever works. I don't want to make it too complicated. I want everybody to feel like they're a part of it. Here's Kelly. August 31st is an Internet Overdose Awareness Day. Come on with us to raise awareness and wear purple and glow sticks, Kelly. Tighten up. And I know I'm going to do glow sticks. So
I'll be looking like we're at a rave.
Yeah. Yeah, or we look like Barney, you know what I mean? But you could do anything purple, or you could do purple glow sticks. It's gonna be super cool. I'm gonna make the event tonight, man. I'm gonna stay up late just to make it happen, and we're gonna get it on there. If I don't get it on there tonight, it'll definitely be on there tomorrow. But I'm gonna work and try to get it done tonight. And then James, you ain't got nothing else, and I could sign off.
All right, man.
All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for being here again, dude. And I hope you have a great night. I hope you guys have a great night. Join us this Sunday for topics. Love y'all. Good night.